Hi, welcome to this episode. Let's encode our last page, which is the contact page. I'm glad we made it that far to this point, and this is the last page on this. I think I could have actually skipped some of these steps, but this is the last page, and I think if we made it that far, it wouldn't be a problem to watch this last one. And especially the contact page is kind of similar to what we had, I think, on the about page, which is two column page. Yes. So we'll try to achieve the same thing here. And in addition to that, the contact page has a form. So I would like us to go through how to insert a form using HTML. So that's why I decided to actually make another video to explain this. I was thinking of skipping this whole process and then let us allow us to move to styling the pages. So let's bear with me on this, and let's get this done quickly, and let's see how it goes. So let's go to our Sublime Text, our text editor. We already have our previous pages here, and then we have the preview of our page, our site here. So we click on works, we go on the works page. If we click on about, we go to about pages, the about page, and the home for the home page. So this time we are going to work on contact. The page does not exist, so we pick the name the browser is looking for. It is important to usually copy the name like this so that you are sure you are creating a file with the exact name. So we come on the portfolio folder, we do new file, then we press Ctrl S to save it, then we paste or we write the name we want, which is contact.html, then we save it. So now our file is created. If we go back to the browser and refresh this time, we get a blank page, which is correct. So this means our page is created. Now we can put in our basic HTML code, and this time around, get in touch as a title. Get in touch. Right, so here we bring in the same things, which are the footer and then the header. So let me start from this, the header, then like this, then we'll bring the footer as well. So bring the footer as well. So normally yes, I think let's keep that for the next episode. So here it is where we are going to place our actual content. And as when we look at our prototype here, we can see that we have two columns, and I think they will do the same thing we did for the about page, which is to have an overall container for the whole thing. You understand it later once we start styling it using CSS, and then have a sub container for this one. So let me even use a different color for this. So let's say with the green part will be the container for the form. And remember these terms, container. So once we get to CSS, you'll see the value. Then we have this, so you can see. So when we go with this design in mind, it allows us to control individual parts of this section. So we use this for a section. So we do this section here. Let me use the black. So this will be a section. So this is a section, and then the section elements are the green and then the orange parts. So let's do it and see. So we start by inserting the section element, and then inside that section element we have the left side element. The left side element will contain the form, so let's call that. And also I could have made it like a div, so let's do it div, right, to contain the left side element, and then another div to contain the right side element. So this is one thing you usually will face. It's not a problem if you do it that way. Then we insert the form here. So HTML has a tag, a special tag when it comes to forms. So when you want to have a form, so that's a kind of component that allows your users to enter information. So either their email, their name and something, or if they are chatting, So such kind of things are called forms. So when you want to insert a form, first of all, you have to have a parent tag called form. This is just like the DL tag we saw over here, which has a parent tag and then some children or child tags under, or sub tags. So these sub tags, you cannot use them independently. They have to be under the DL tag. So the same thing goes with the form. You insert it as a form, but you give it children. So all these children, you cannot use them independently except under a form. So you declare the form like this, and then inside you input the things you want to the elements for the form. So here the problem we are having is, or I mean the challenge I have with that is, once I have this div here and I have this and this, so this div cannot place no particular row. It plays no particular role. So I tend to usually substitute these divs with the form tag. So the form tag now plays the role of the container. So what that means, instead of me to use this in this green area, instead of me to use a div to do this, and then inside I will have the form, I would rather use the form tag as the cover. So I would rather use the form tag as the cover. So it actually plays the role of the I think it's called wrapper. So right, instead of me to use div to wrap the whole thing, let me use the form rather as the wrapper. So that's the idea I wanted to share here with you. So we use the form as the wrapper for the left side, and then inside the form we need to insert the content, which is the name, the email, and then the message itself. So to insert the name, we use the tag called input. So the input tag takes some additional attributes to add to its function, its basic function. So the type, we specify the type to say, okay, in this input, what type of content are we expecting? Is it a number, a name, an email, or a phone number, and so many other types? So in our case, we just want people to type text, a basic text. So we are going to enter text. The name, we can assign it a name, but let's ignore that part for now. Then I can go ahead and input a BR to break the line, and then insert the next field, which is the email field. So we go ahead, we do input, and then the type here we say email, and the name we can ignore it for now. And then we go ahead, we add the BR. Then we now go to the text area. So this place where we enter a lot of text, and it's called a text area. So HTML has, the HTML form has that tag, text, called text area. Text area. Sorry, I think I'm getting text area. Good. So by doing that, it will give us a large text box to enter our message. So if we refresh, we should see it. Yes. But so far we can see that this doesn't look really great compared to what we have here. So we could try to do better with HTML so far. So the first thing we need to do is to give it a label. Although here in the prototype, I have the caption name inside the box, the field, we can do that. So by placing another attribute called placeholder, and inside that, as a value of that placeholder, we write name. So by doing so, if we refresh now, we should see the term name show up under the box or at the background of the field. So once you start typing, that will disappear and you'll be able to write your name. So we can do the same thing for the email. So we add the placeholder and we say email, and then we can do the same thing for the text area. Write your message here. So if we refresh, yes, what happened? Nothing. So the text area element does not support the placeholder, so we just have to get rid of this. It is good that we are meeting this here. So but I'm surprised, I'm quite surprised. Okay, this should work. Let me look at it again. Surprising. And also so far you can notice something strange happening. When I click inside this text area, the cursor seems to appear anywhere. So instead of just at the beginning, it appears anywhere. So it means I can start typing from there. I don't like that. Good. And that's why the placeholder does not show, because it seems like there's something inside already. So the placeholder disappears if there's any content. So if I write something, it disappears. So when I refresh, it disappears. So it seems like there is already some content. So that's why I was seeing that the placeholder is not working, and the reason is simply because I broke the line after the first opening tag. I broke the line, and then all this space in between the text area opening tag and the text area closing tag are considered as content for HTML. So we have to clear it and make sure the closing tag is right next to the opening tag, and this will start the text area as an empty field. So if we refresh now, we should be able to see our placeholder text. This makes sense. So now you can also see sometimes the text area, the caption, which is the name here, is on top of the field. So like this, like it could be your name, and then let's say column, and we refresh, so we can see it's next to it, or it is right on top. If you want, you use BR to make that happen, and you see, so we can do the same thing for the next field. So your name, so this time around is your email, and then we go ahead, we do the same thing for your message, right? So we get these kind of things, right? The labels right on top of each field. But it still is good. It can happen. You can do something like that from time to time. But the best practice is to use a tag called label. So the label is actually for the label. So our label is the name. So we write the label here, and then we do the same thing. So let me remove the colon. Do label. Write the label. Do the label here. So you can see how much space we've saved. We remove the BRs, and we are using a tag that is more meaningful, and we saved a lot of space. So if we do refresh now, you see it aligns itself automatically with the field. So the other thing we could add to the label is an attribute called for. So what field is this label for, right? What field is this label for? It's for this field. So how do we say this label is for this field? So what we do is we add a particular attribute to this field called ID. So we give it a unique identity, an ID. So let's say we call this name field. We give that name. When you give the ID of name to a field, you should not give that same ID to another field. So that's an ID, of course, because an ID is unique. It should be unique for everybody. Your ID card should be unique for you, not for another person. So we now indicate that name here. So this label is for this ID or this ID field, right? So when we refresh, nothing particular happens, but the special thing that happens is when you click on this label. When you click, you see it brings the cursor right inside the corresponding field. So if we do the same thing for this one, the email. So label 4, and it is going to be email. So the ID we are going to create is going to be ID email. So the same thing, label 4 for the message box, message, and then the ID here is going to be message. Great. So this time when we refresh for each one of the fields, when we click on the label, it will now take us to the field. And this is very user friendly because people tend not to be it will free people from trying to always target the field before they can click. So right, so the label tag, as you could see here, it's an inline tag, so that's why it automatically aligns itself with the input fields, which are also inline tags. So it could have broken the line, the line, yes, and then taking the fields right to the next line. So that didn't happen. So it means we could add some BR to each one of these labels to break to the next line, right? But we'll leave this arrangement, this styling aspect, to the CSS once we start styling our pages. So for now, let's keep it like that. Now the last element, so we insert some BR, and then in front of it we'll add it, which is the button to submit the form, and then we say send message. So we close the button, we reload, then we have our form. So the form is ready. Then the right side of our element, our section, is the contact information, and so we'll just pick some things. We already have a message for the contact page. I think when we check here, we have a section we kept for this contact, which is here. So let's connect. So we are going to write it, sorry, we are still here. So we are going to use H2 as a title. Then I'm always open, blah blah blah. So all this we use the P tag to put it, and here we are. So collaboration and so so we are going to write Jalil Ali at jalilali.com. Great. So, and thank you for visiting my portfolio. Yes, and that will be in a different paragraph. Yes. So that's it for this area. We could add some other information like the phone number or whatever the person would like to enter here, but I think we are okay at this point. It should be fine. Great. So that is it. We are at the end of this episode, and we've seen quite a bit of HTML tags through this exercise of encoding our HTML pages. So I hope you liked it. If you do, please kindly consider liking the video, sharing the video, subscribing to the channel, and please, thank you for being here, and see you in my next video.